When you're starting out in voiceovers, most of the time you're going to be recording from home. However, if your career is blossoming, you may find yourself actually going to a studio, to an external studio, to an audio suite and recording there. But there's a certain etiquette you have to take on board. So here it is. I've got a few pointers I think you should bear in mind when you're going to an external studio. First of all, don't be late. Now, I know that's completely obvious, and you're thinking to yourself, well, you know, of course I'm not going to be late. It's a studio. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. No way am I going to be late. But 5 or 10 minutes here or there is going to make a big difference. And remember, the client is paying for not only you and your time, but paying for the studio time as well. And just a 5 minutes or a 10 minutes late here and there because the bus was late, because you got stuck in a traffic jam or whatever, doesn't really cut it very well with the client. So bear in mind, that's very important. Just get there nice and early and build in a buffer zone just in case of travel problems as well. So very important to remember that. Remove noisy jewelry. Now, you may not wear any, which is fine, but bangles and beads and things like that can make a bit of a nasty sound on mic, and the sound engineer may think, what on earth's that? Is it a digital interference, or is it something in the real world? And often it's kind of jangly bangles and earrings. So make sure you have those removed as well. Turn off your mobile phone. Again, it's a kind of obvious thing, really, isn't it? And you're probably thinking, well, yeah, of course I'm going to turn off my mobile phone. But just putting it onto silent isn't good enough. Because what you'll find is that if you get a message, or it's just data updating, which often phones do of their own accord when you least expect it, and it will create, even if it's totally silent to our ears, what sometimes happens is it interferes with the diaphragm inside the microphone, and you get that kind of sound. And of course, that could ruin the recording. So make sure you turn it off completely. Don't rustle the script. Now, that's a tricky one. You've got to be almost as good as a radio newsreader, really, turning the script silently. But even if you turn a script in between pages and so on, you get a bit of rustle. It doesn't matter too much because they'll cut that out. But if you're then taking your script and you're just rubbing it slightly, and sometimes you might do it inadvertently, just kind of scraping the script, then that will be picked up on mic. These microphones are incredibly sensitive, so make sure that you have your hands quite away from the script while you're reading. Respect the sound engineer. Now, that's an interesting one. Not that you disrespect them, but these people are incredibly talented, and they want to work with you. They want to get as good a sound from your voice as you do. So always listen to what they're saying and kind of work with them, never work against them. And it's important to just take that on board, I think. And also, talking of working with people, make sure you're working with the director. Now, the director may be a separate director who's purely been employed to do that job of directing and producing you. Or they may be the client, or it may indeed be the sound engineer. But more often than not, it is, especially at these external studios, they tend to use a separate director. And again, work with them, take on board what they're saying. And crucially, make sure you follow the direction. So if they say slow down, make sure you slow down. If they say emphasize that word, but not that word, make sure you do that too. So all important stuff, but the most important of all, of course, is have some fun. So when you go to a studio, you'll be nervous, but if you can turn that nervous energy around and make it into an enjoyable session, you'll really have a great time. So enjoy your time there, look after your voice, and see you next time.